recording.
Hi, this is Christina from Sovereignty Lab, and I just wanted to share some life-changing, profound news. I was just gifted a pharmacy, a homeopathic pharmacy from a 30-year veteran homeopath who had passed away. And this is just like insanely amazing. And I wanted to show you some of the stuff here first. So it's going to be a lot of fun organizing all this, but like it just gobs, like there's a box under here.
Could you kind of explain like what a remedy, like each one of those, it just looks like a bunch of bottles in there. So
homeopathic remedies are very specific. Like they're made out of, each remedy is made out of a different substance that has been like gone through a proving, which is like a clinical trial, to figure out like what specific symptoms this can help your body to resolve.
So a person has an issue with a
knee pain.
Knee pain. Okay.
And let's say their knee pain is better from stretching, and it's better when they do a little bit of exercise, but if they do too much, then it freezes up. But if they sit too long, it gets worse. Then I would give them one remedy, versus if everything they do like aggravates it and they're better from just sitting there and not doing much, then I'd give them a different remedy.
So each one of those can help with a different type of knee pain.
Right.
So you get very specific when we're
different emotional
right.
stuff.
Got it.
They're all very specific, and then there's different potencies. So like there could be 10, 20 different potencies of the same remedy, and potencies are just the strength.
So we're just trying to get a perspective as to the magnitude of what you've got there just in that one box.
Yeah.
But you have more than one box. You have
amazing amount. And some of the remedies, which is so amazing. See, there's homeopaths all know that there's no expiration date on homeopathic remedies as long as they're stored like in cool, not too hot, not too cool. They can last, like 200-year-old remedies can still be effective. And so there's a lot of vintage remedies in here, which is just like a dream that I've always had, to have like vintage remedies in my pharmacy, and now I have it, and it's, yeah, I'm still all up and excited about it. So
agog.
Okay,
agog.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So there's just boxes and boxes of remedies. There's this like amazing cool chest, and you know, like all the ones, like this is like when you feel like you're in an old apothecary, when you have the cork stoppers on the vials. That's how the old homeopaths used to do it. And it's just, yeah, it's a really exciting time. Like I've got my work cut out for me for the next few weeks to get this organized and assimilated into the rest of my pharmacy, which I had found this amazing magazine rack that I'm like, what in the heck am I going to do with all this space? You know, like I'm never going to fill this up. Well,
and then all this shows up.
All of this shows up. So I'd like to talk about some of the spiritual stuff that comes with this, and how this has been quite a journey.
Okay. Now we're talking about the spiritual components of that pharmacy, and how things come together when we're on our spiritual path, when we're doing what's aligned for us. So Go ahead.
So I started my homeopathic training in 2004 when I met my ex-husband, who is a homeopath, and we tripled, maybe quadrupled the size of the pharmacy that he started with when we were together for 15 years. And it was really kind of, life is kind of unfair sometimes, because in the divorce I did not end up with the pharmacy, and that
anything.
I didn't end up with much of anything. It was really devastating for me. It was amazingly devastating ego-wise, which I didn't think it would hit me in that way, but like there was a part of me that couldn't let go of the identity that came with a lot of the stuff, having like, even though I'd trained for so long, like I didn't feel like a homeopath without that pharmacy. It was like I had this identity attached to it, and I didn't understand that at the time, like how much that was there. So that was 3.5 years ago, and you know, I'd been amassing remedies in my pharmacy, building things up slowly, but
So this was after the divorce. And then you started collecting little bits of remedies to kind of build up a toolbox for yourself to help yourself and the people that you would work with.
right.
But it would still, that's an expensive process.
It's very expensive. I mean, like
So
the
to-
pharmacy we had was worth like,
We meaning you
my
and your
ex-husband was worth like over $200,000.
Yeah, so
was
that's a lot
massive.
of money to, a lot of time, energy, and effort that you spent to amass that, and then because of how that transpired, you ended up with nothing.
Yeah, so it was really, like I said, I had to work through a lot of feeling shame, feeling less than, and just like really realizing that I was holding myself back because of the anger, the rage, and the victimization that I felt from the whole process.
It's a sense of like what's fair,
Right.
like what's
And just not feeling, like, how do you get over, like, when you see something is not fair and it's affecting you directly, personally, like that, like, how do you let go of that, you know, and how do you honor yourself as you go through that process without feeling shame towards, holy shit, like, I'm really stuck in this, you know, because that can be, I think, I know I got stuck beating myself up a lot for where I was at.
Well, it's the pivot. Is how can you be present to what's happening? It's like you were no longer married. You no longer had this pharmacy. Whatever was fair or right or just wasn't on the table anymore. So, what is the pivot? How could you point yourself in another direction? That's usually an indication from a spiritual sense that you're being guided in another direction. You're being pointed in another direction. And if we spend too much time holding on to the thing that didn't work out, or the thing that we thought it was when it really wasn't, because we just weren't present enough to be aware that the thing was something different, now we need to go in another direction. And the more you spend time in the past, wanting that thing that never was to begin with, it was just our misperception of it, and we go in the direction of the thing that we do want, or the new direction, then you can get there faster.
Yes.
Well, now we got another pharmacy.
So
now you have another pharmacy.
Having this pharmacy here, like, we both immediately noticed the shift in the energy here at the lab.
Well, I think before you get to the woo-woo, it's shift here at the lab, there was the experience of that pharmacy came into your sphere, was it a year ago, year and a half ago?
So about a year ago, a local woman in one of the homesteading groups said that she had been caretaking this pharmacy for a deceased friend who was a 30-year veteran homeopath, and she wanted to gift it to a local practitioner. And I was like, oh my God, you know, that's going to be my pharmacy. Like, I just knew that it would be my pharmacy. And weeks and weeks later, and a few texts back and forth, and it wasn't my pharmacy. It was gifted to someone else.
Yeah, it was gifted to someone else. And
locally.
There was that letdown for you, devastation for you that this didn't work out. Yet at the same time, now the pharmacy ends up in your possession.
Right.
But a year and a half later, we look back on it, zoom out, and look at the divine orchestration of everything, that if you would have got the pharmacy back a year and a half ago, you wouldn't have been able to organize it. You wouldn't have had that thing, the letter
magazine rack,
and all of those things weren't here.
And I don't think I was energetically ready for the whole thing too. It's like, it feels so different now. It's like, it really, I'm in a good place. And I feel like I'm at a place where it's like, I can fully welcome this in, and yeah, just, it's good. I don't even have words yet. It's just really, really good. Yeah, there was something else I was going to say before about the woo. Oh, the alignment. I didn't realize, and looking back, of course, hindsight's always 20/20. And sometimes it's actually having the different thing to compare that lets you, like, to see the contrast. Thank you. It's the contrast, like having this here, like having this fully gifted and receiving and delivering it here. It's like, now I see that me holding on to this other pharmacy was so out of alignment for me, just in so many ways, and that it was definitely closing me off to receiving something even more appropriate. So I'm very grateful. You know, through pain and through struggle, we learn. You know, it gives us the resistance. It's like resistance training for our soul. And we forget that sometimes when we're in the middle of a painful experience, one where we lose almost everything in our lives, or everything in our lives, or maybe just pieces. You know, it's that in that loss and in the recalibration and in the contrast that we really grow. So yeah, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's part of the crazy amount of things that are falling into place right now. It's pretty cool. And just seeing all of those pieces from the bees, we've talked about it in other videos, the bees and the land and building the soil and permaculture and regenerative forestry and planting things that will support everything else. And I think when you start looking at life that way, when you start integrating what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing with the things that surround you, you begin to line those things up, things just fall into place. And things just start moving along.
Totally.
And it's like the big thing right now is integration. Like, we're trying to integrate all of these great and awesome things that have been taking place, and it's just prioritizing what is going to make the biggest difference in the shortest period of time. Because right now in the world, in our community, there's a lot of people that are struggling. And even the people think they got things going really well, they're struggling because there's a lack of an awareness that's going on a baseline. There's too many people that already get into crisis before they want to do anything. The traveling, the real busyness, all of that, we've talked about that on previous videos, that eventually in the short term here, because of the acceleration of vibration frequencies, solar, whatever stuff, you could put a bunch of labels on it, but it is getting faster and faster, and there's less. We talked about that in another video, which is we have less of a window of screwing up.
Yeah.
We have less of a opportunity for those lessons that we've been kind of kicking the can down the road on. They're going to be up in our face.
Yeah, like the beginning of this year, so much stuff was going so well and moving so fast. And I kept saying, this is great, but it's almost stressful because there's so much and I don't feel like I'm integrating it fully. And then bam, you know, in April I was hit with 3 episodes, mini stroke things, whatever we're calling them, that, you know, was like, now you're going to slow down and you're going to integrate, and these last little pieces are going to be brought to the surface and you're going to deal with it. Yeah. So it hits us, you know. I hopefully that doesn't have to be that intense for you.
Right.
You know, but if you don't stop and really chop wood and carry water, do the basics,
basic
the
things.
integration, and slow everything down. It will.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to, I mean, this is like real life. This is real shit, guys.
It's just a reality.
Yeah.
It's just a reality of life.
Yeah.
And it's happening in society, in government, with planetary level. A lot of information is coming to light that has been suppressed for a long period of time. And there's a lot of trauma that is going, if it isn't already coming up for you, is going to be coming up shortly. Like, what time is it?
Yeah.
Especially with that movie Sound of Freedom. That's going to hit a lot of people on a lot of levels, and that's the tip of the iceberg for information that's coming to the forefront. So a lot of people that haven't looked at those things or had the tools to address it and things like that, that's what we're doing.
Right. And no matter how you feel about what that, you know, people bringing those kinds of things out up, like human trafficking and stuff, and like, oh, what you put your attention to, you know, the energy flows, the movie still is serving the purpose in the collective to wake a lot of people up and to get them moving in the, oh my gosh, stuff's not the way I thought it was, and bringing up collective trauma.
Well, I mean, it's like,
it's a tool right now.
You could break your arm and you could say, well, I'm not going to put my attention on my broken arm. Your arm's still broken. There's a component of that needs to be looked at and needs to be addressed. And if you don't address it, it's just going to fester and get worse. And you have a choice of addressing it. And a lot of these things that come up for us can be addressed with a lot of preventative maintenance, self-care, having the tools of knowing how to help yourself. So that's what we're...
Yeah, just slowing down, deep levels of self-care, not jumping from one shiny thing to the next, and, you know, just... And sometimes the simple thing is exactly what you need, even though it doesn't look like what you think you want.
Yeah, and I will address that piece of slowing down. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going slowly. It's meaning there's a calmness inside of you, and that's where the people aren't calm inside.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how many of us are dealing with anxiety and depression? You know, like almost everybody I know.
Really?
Well, except for you.
You never know. Yeah, there's a lot of people struggling with a lot of emotions, and it's being suppressed by prescription drugs and things like that.
And activities and
that just blows out sideways.
Yeah.
It blows out sideways.
It's not sustainable.
Nope. So, anyways.
Well, guys,
else? Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Reach out to Christina. She's got a lot of new remedies.
So excited.
Maybe give her a couple of weeks so she could find them.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, if you need some help or support, just reach out. Subscribe to the channel. What else?
Yes, subscribe to the newsletter.
Give us a call, shoot us an email, set up a time to speak with one of us, and we'll see what we can do to help out.
All right, you guys take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.